It's the Red Zone Challenge brought to you by Firestone-Walker Brew in Paso de Robles. Jeff and Jeremy here, and we're going to get Ollie on here in just a minute as we cover the 5 closest games of the week in the National Football League, giving away tickets to go to the Firestone-Walker Invitational, as well as $200 to the tap room. And we got some swag for you as well. KZOZ.com to play. Sorry, I don't have him up here yet.
Why not?
I'm working on it. Yeah, let's call him. This is Ollie, who gave us a tour of the new facility, which you can do, by the way. We found out it's open on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. You go in there, you can drink beer at 10 o'clock.
Thank you for calling the Firestone-Walker Brewing Company. If you know your party's extension...
There's David Walker.
A lot of people do that.
Please hold while I try to connect you.
A lot of people do that.
Jeez. That's loud. Apologize for that.
Hello?
Hey, we're doing it. We're live.
Let's do it.
What's up, Ollie? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Just running around a bit, but I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Well, you know, I'm not as super excited about how we all did last week, but I guess nobody did bad and nobody did great.
Everybody
we all went 3-2.
Everybody did the same in different ways. Like I took Houston, Chicago, and New Orleans. All 3 teams won. Jeremy took Houston, Oakland, and New Orleans. You took Oakland as well. Ollie, you also took Chicago.
Hey, good pick on Oakland, Ollie.
I did not feel good about that game. That was not a fun game at all. As far as our bets went, that could have gone either way for sure. It felt like Cleveland got robbed a bit in that game too. So
now the league said that they accessed all the camera angles, and all the camera angles agree with the officials on that Carlos Hyde spot. But doesn't the league kind of have to say that?
I felt like they really wanted Gruden to win a game.
Yeah, like it's almost like the league's going to, like, in what other instance have they exhausted every single camera angle to prove their point? You know what I mean? It's like
I think just Ray Rice is the only one I can remember.
Yeah, exactly. Very good point, Ollie.
And that other game, I ended up watching that Indy game, and did you guys watch that fourth quarter? The overtime with 27 seconds?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God! 4th and 4, 27 seconds left. T.Y. Hilton's out. They're on their own 37. They come out, line up, do the fake count, timeout again, go back to the sideline, come out a second time. They have one last timeout. It's tied game at that point, thinking they're going to just settle for the tie. I'm like, okay, well, they're just going to settle for the tie here. Nope, they snap it to Luck. He throws it at his receiver's feet. Houston gets the ball back, throws it to DeAndre Hopkins. They're on the 20, kick the field goal, game's over.
Wow.
It was like, what the heck just happened there?
Very quick.
There were so many great games. After watching Patrick Mahomes and KC on Monday Night Football, I'm really excited to watch this guy play more because I've heard about him. But that was the first time on Monday night that I actually watched the guy play, and he is really fun to watch.
Oh my God. Absolutely. He's unbelievable right now.
Well, we're going to cover that KC matchup in our 5 closest games of the week, brought to you by our friends at Firestone-Walker. This is from the MGM Sportsbook out of Las Vegas. I guess we'll just start with Denver, who looked pretty good in that game as well. Had a shot to win it. And I was just talking to Jeff about that if he doesn't overthrow Demaryius Thomas, they win that game. Jeff says he could have caught the ball.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Demaryius Thomas? Did he give up on that route?
I actually drove home from the gym thinking Denver was taking that game, and I missed that whole set of downs, so I didn't see it.
It was probably the best part of the game. Well, maybe not, but one of the better parts of the game anyways. So Denver this week will travel over to New York to take on the Jets. The Jets somehow are a 1-point favorite, I guess probably because they're at home. What do we got here?
Yes, that is why they are a 1-point favorite.
I lost
because
my
they are at
page.
home. So really, when you look at this game, as we're going to sit and pick it,
Here we go.
you look at it as Vegas actually sees Denver with a good shot of winning this game.
I mean, Denver's 2-2. The Red Zone Nation is picking them to win this game by 87%. The Jets, obviously 1-3, only 13%. But Vegas likes the Jets at home. I guess we go with the same order
By
we went
one.
last week, Jeff. So we'll start with you.
I'm going to go Denver all day on this one. I just think there's too much defense, too many weapons, and not a rookie at quarterback that is going to get rattled by the Denver pass rush of Von Miller. And I will go Denver.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, I thought there was something exciting about this kid. I mean, I think quarterbacks was kind of the story. We had these new guys out there. The new guys were having a hard time. They were struggling. They were having a hard time getting wins, but they were still fun to watch. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes was somebody we were talking about. He wasn't a rookie, but Fitzmagic, who was kind of like a rookie because he was coming off the bench, and he was exciting. Now we see where those two ended up. I agree. I think that Denver has got more weapons. I don't know what weapons, Ollie, maybe you could tell me that New York has, that Vegas likes them in this matchup. I like Denver.
I think they're just giving them the edge. I don't quite understand the line either. I think it's going to be a pick 'em by the time the game starts, if not even Denver getting a point, because I think the public's going to be all over this. No, the only one I know is that Quincy Enunwa is the only weapon I know that he's very comfortable with. I'm not quite understanding it either. It always worries me when we're all on the same line here, but I'm also taking Denver. I feel like, the football gods on this one, after that loss at home, I think Denver's ticked off, and they're going to go in there and they're going to want to prove a point. The only variable that I think, or a question I have on Denver, is that QB, who's just essentially a good backup QB, who's making a lot of money per year to start for Denver.
Everybody's so hard on Case Keenum. I don't understand it. Okay, I mean, just like,
Don't overthrow Demaryius Thomas, and nobody's hard on him.
We're 4 weeks into the season. Demaryius Thomas should have caught that ball.
It was still a tough catch. Even Odell Beckham would have had a hard time catching that ball.
No.
He was throwing floaters in that KC game, too. I mean, there was that one jump ball that KC came down with in the third quarter, where that should have never been a jump ball. I mean, he's got to nail those
I need
receivers.
to remind everybody that Case Keenum took his team to the NFC Championship game last year. Okay? What about the Minnesota Miracle? The Minneapolis Miracle. That could not happen without Case Keenum.
So we're all agreeing on Denver. Do I have to remind you, Ali, that you're trailing in third place at 9-11 on the season?
Come on. It's two games. It's 2 games.
All right, let's move on then. Green Bay traveling to Detroit. They are the road favorite in this one. Who do you like, Jeff?
I actually like Detroit in this game. Why are you laughing, Ali?
Because I like Detroit too, and I like the fact that you like Detroit.
What is your problem? Is Aaron Rodgers? Is he more hurt than I thought he was?
Well, he is. He's banged up, and that's why I like Detroit in this game.
He's banged up. He's barely banged up.
Detroit's got better weapons, and I think Green Bay is not. It's not just an Aaron Rodgers thing. I mean, they're having to really go deep with their wide receiver core, and I think.
But they have them.
I think this is an instance of Green Bay's a better team, but Detroit's the better team right now. So that's why I'm going with the Detroit Lions.
Okay, this is why Green Bay is going to win. Let's first look at their record, all right? They won last week. It was Buffalo. It was, they wiped them out. 22-0. They lose to Washington, which I think is probably one of the most underrated teams in the NFL right now. They tie with Minnesota. They should have won that game. We all know that. And they beat Chicago, which has a great defense. They still have too many offensive weapons. I love Green Bay in this one. Ollie, I'm glad you're not picking them.
The one thing, too, though, you got to remember that defense is a little banged up on Green Bay. I think their 3 cornerbacks are all suffered some form of injury. That doesn't mean they're not starting, but they are a little banged up going into Detroit, another team that needs to get a win here at home. Yeah, I like Detroit in this game.
All right, next up. These games are getting more exciting, I promise.
I think those 2 games are very exciting.
Baltimore.
They're the most exciting on the board, actually.
Actually, yeah, we'll do Baltimore first. They're road favorite, traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Baltimore is a 3-point favorite on the road, Jeff.
This is the toughest game for me to pick of the week.
It's a hard one.
Just when you start to think that Joe Flacco's good, he'll always prove you wrong.
You'll get Flacco'd for sure.
You will get Flacco'd. And I think that's the week this happens. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns.
All right. No, I'm going to stick with Baltimore. I don't really have any other reasons, except for I think Cleveland's still trying to figure out what's going on there. Quarterbacks, Mayfield, whatever. I think it's more consistent with Baltimore. I think they have more weapons. I like them. I like their defense, too.
Wow. Again, I like Jeff's pick. I like Cleveland in this game. I think it's going to be a battle. This is going to be a good game. I just see Cleveland taking this one. I really like that QB. They put up 42 points last week.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's
going to be yes,
it's
absolutely. And
they
got
a better offensive
defense.
squad with Baker Mayfield behind center than they were with Tyrod Taylor, which is weird because Tyrod Taylor's a rushing quarterback. So, obviously, the concussion forced them to make the right choice in Cleveland because it wasn't the coaching staff.
That is the one piece they're missing is a coach. They might make it to the playoffs if they had a coach.
They have all the skills to beat the Baltimore Ravens. We'll just have to see if the coaching staff can F it up.
Next up, Jacksonville traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Chiefs are a 3-point favorite in this one, Jeff.
Gosh. This is the week that Patrick Mahomes learns a lesson. I'm going to go Jacksonville, and only because I think that even if it's an offensive shootout, if it goes that way, Jacksonville, if you forget, got themselves in a mess last year towards the end of the season with some offensive shootouts, but they still have the firepower to get there if they just recognize it early. So say Kansas City goes up by 10 or 14 early on in this one. Jacksonville, I think, has what it takes to rely on some offense, get them back to where they need to get, and then have the defense there as well. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
A lot of people might be a little worried that Leonard Fournette is officially out. The release came out today, and that T.J. Yeldon is going to be taking over. But Kansas City's defense is terrible for the run. And I think they're like they give up the most. I think they give up in fantasy football, which is always my source. They give up the second most fantasy points to running backs. I just think that I agree with you, Jeff. I think that things change this week, and I think KC takes a loss. I like Jacksonville in this as well.
Well, I'm going to take KC then, because this was the hardest game for me to take, and I'll take the what are they, home favorites by 3?
Yes, they are.
Yes, I'll take the short favorites at home here. I'll take KC. I think they got one of the strongest chances of making it into the Super Bowl as of right now. But we'll see. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game.
That was the narrative last year for the Kansas City Chiefs too. Remember, they started 6-0 and then lost like the next 7.
Different QB. Different QB.
True.
So
even after what happened last week on Monday Night Football, I mean, they showed a lot of strength,
a lot of moxie. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are not the Denver Broncos.
All right,
you guys are relying on that quarterback on Jacksonville, though. You better hope he comes out and he's the good Bortles and not the bad Bortles.
I love me.
Don't get Bortled.
Exactly.
I got a snake, man.
All right, final pick of the week. This one is I have no idea. I have no idea about these two teams. They both confused the hell out of me. I thought Pittsburgh was going to be so much stronger.
You know what I like on this one?
I don't understand what happened to Atlanta.
Points! Nothing but points in this one.
Atlanta traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers at home, and of course, we all know that the Steelers are tough at home, but. Maybe are they tough at home this year? Pittsburgh's a 3-point favorite, Jeff.
The Atlanta Falcons are the NFL version of Charlie Brown, meaning they're good, but they never win. They're 1-3. Arthur Blank this week said, "I'm concerned about my team being 1-3." Well, you don't have a defense, and it's not your fault. It's just everybody got hurt in the early going of the season. Home team. This is the straight up home team pick on this one, and I'll go with Pittsburgh.
Roethlisberger at home. It's when he's supposed to be unbeatable, right? But we all saw last week that could happen.
Yeah, but that was a team with the defense. Atlanta does not have a defense. I love this fantasy matchup. Any pieces that you could get of this equation, including Austin Hooper, go for it. Because it's like there's nothing. This is going to be a basketball game.
You realize they're 1-3, and their only win was on the road.
I know. Who? Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
No, Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Yeah. Another team with no defense. No defense. None. Zero.
It's a
Zilch.
coin flip for me. I don't know which way to go. Ollie, you want to go before me?
No, that's not how it works.
Okay, I'll just pick. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. I think it's a safe pick.
Yeah, we're all going Pittsburgh.
Home team. Gotta go home team.
You gotta hold your nose and take Pittsburgh. Even if you're gambling on this one, you kind of gotta hold your nose and take Pittsburgh.
I'm not holding my nose. I'm thinking fantasy all day long.
Yeah, I tried to get Brown off him this week, and he's not giving him up. He thinks this is going to be the big week.
I even contemplated Switzer on the fourth receiver because there's going to be so many points scored here.
Let me ask you this though: would you, if this game was in Atlanta, would you take Atlanta?
I think I would. No, I think I would.
Yeah, me too.
I would too.
Roethlisberger's that bad on the road.
Yeah, I would too. Not in Tampa Bay.
That's the thing. I can't believe we actually gamble on these games.
I know.
Well,
it gives me an ulcer every week. I'm watching
really
the worst
does.
game on television.
Really did. Did you hear about the guy that bet on the Alabama versus the Louisiana Lafayette game last week? He bet Alabama on the money line. Meaning, in order to win $1.60, he had to bet $1,579. He did it. What an idiot! I think we have ulcers. I mean, what if Louisiana Lafayette comes out and scores the first touchdown in that one?
I think he had too many 805s.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
know what's going on with there.
Jeff is in first place at 11-9. I'm at 10-10, and you're at 9-11. Good luck this week, Ollie.
Hey, you do the same. I'll talk to you guys next week, fellas. Good luck.
All right. You can always catch all the games, all 5 of them, on our podcast. Log on to kzoz.com.